Hello everyone, welcome to today's weekly commentary. Do know I will also be dropping this outlook on my Telegram channel or across my social platform for a week. But this does not mean that market will play exactly the same. So the main thing is what you wait for reaction, unlike the ones I'm dropping in form of a setup or a signal. So those ones are different from this particular type of setup I'll be dropping um, at the beginning of a week, likely on Monday or on Sunday. So today I'll be dropping this across my social platform. So right here, we have a break of structure to the downside on good. And before we go deeply into this, or before we explaining this, let's look at the code report that we have for last week. So from the code report, this is good. On this good side, we understand that in the last 2 weeks or in the last 3 weeks, we went from minus that is a 257,000 to 238,000. So this means that sellers are now what coming into the market the more. And why now? Technical analysis haven't aligned with this quote report. So that means market is still bullish. But now we are seeing bearish what retracement. And apart from seeing the bearish retracement, we have what tariff from US government. This means that it can strengthen the US dollar for a little while until market decide to what reprice itself. Now back to that, except other country decide to uh, tariff US again, then we see form of a trade war whereby we see increase in dollar or a decrease in dollar at that point, depending on the interpretation of the tariff at that particular time. So that is what we have on good. Now, we also have tariff on, also have code report purpose. Let's start with Australian dollar. All right. So on Australian dollar, we went from minus 70,000 to minus 75,000. All right. So in the last 3 weeks, this shows that sellers now gradually coming into the market. Now, since sellers are now entering the market, this means we look for more sell. All right. We'll be looking for sell program on AUD pairs. And I discussed it in our last session where I said since Chef is little bit strong and AUD is weak, you can pair it against AUD Chef and you will expect what? A bearish expansion, all right? You expect a bearish expansion. As of last week, I said that, right? This week, the same thing, Chef is Australian dollar is losing strength, all right? It's losing strength. That means on pairs like AUD USD, we'll be looking for bearish expansion. Then a retracement to the upside, which is a little short-term bullish expansion or bullish retracement before we expect what a bearish expansion to the downside. That is on AUD. Now here we have what Canadian dollar. On this Canadian dollar, we have market from minus 136,000 to minus 180,000. All right, 180,000. So if you look at it from the last 3 weeks, this means card is what strong. So card is what strong. So if card is strong, but not super strong, because if you look at it, the difference is not that much from minus 129 to minus 130. So in the last 2 weeks, it reduced with let's say 1K difference, right? But the difference is not that much. So that means card is still what strong, but it is not super strong. All right, you can have it as what a pair that is within a structural range or kind of not weak, neither strong. Now we move to other pairs like Swiss francs. We have market moving from minus 36,000 to 42,000. This means Swiss francs is becoming weaker at this point. All right, Swiss franc is becoming weaker. Now, if Swiss francs is becoming weaker, this will give us advantage to look forward on quote pairs where where chef is the quote and the base is strong. We'll be looking for a bullish expansion on those major pairs. Unlike USD chef, we'll be looking for a bullish expansion if technical analysis align with this fundamental analysis. Now we look at another pairs on arrow, right? On arrow, we went from what 59,000 to 65 to what 51,000. So it is not that strong, neither is it too weak. But at the current moment, we're having a retracement on Aero USD. So that can give us what a short-term pullback into the major structure we have currently before a bearish expansion or before we have continuation of the bullish movement. Now here we have British pound sterling. So on this pair we have one forward 9,044.84. Same thing. So these pairs they are losing strength, or these currencies are losing strength gradually, but not with what with speed, but they are losing strength gradually. The same thing we have already discussed on good. And on Japanese yen, one from what plus 122 to 121. So there's no much difference. This also means that JPY is not that weak. So it's still what strong. And the reason why it's still strong because people are still what looking for it to be strong because Japan, South Korea, and China they are planning on what a retaliatory tariff on against dollar or against USD. So that can what strengthen Japanese at that point. So this is why we are still pricing in on this particular currency. Now back to the chart. So this gives us idea that we'll be looking forward a short-term bullish expansion good right here, at least to trade into this level before a bearish expansion, or to trade into this level before bearish expansion. All right. If bears stays in power. If not, now here is the current structural range that we have. Okay. So this means since we have this as a current structural range, that means we'll be looking forward a buy program into this level before bearish expansion, or if market trade above it, then we look for a bullish expansion. So this is my view on good. I'll also update this and give some write-up on it and post it across my social platform. So this will be my view on good. So you look forward entry on this particular pair. Now we're going to another, which is Euro USD. Now we understand that after market broke this structure high right here. So this is our BOS from the to the upside, right? Now here we have liquidity low. Okay, have a liquidity low. You can consider it what minor internal structure. All right. So I expect market to what give us what a pullback right here into this range, a drop, then pullback into this range for more drop to this level before we look forward buy expansion, or market trade below it, we look forward a bearish expansion to the downside. So that is the major, that is my major point of what interest. On daily time frame, also have another POY, which is very, very viable right here, which is this support level right here. So market can also trade around here, give a pullback. But here is my major point of what interest. All right, that is my major point of interest on Euro USD. So that means I will be expecting some back this range before buy expansion on this pair. Now on GBPUSD, we understand that market took this low, right? Or you can call it inducement, all right? But currently it is not an inducement. Now the reason why, because you can see what fundamental analysis is telling us now that these pairs are losing strength, right? That means GPB is losing strength. If GPB is losing strength and people are pricing in dollar now, we give dollar strength for bearish expansion downside. Bearish expansion downside. So I'll be looking at this 2POI for a bearish expansion downside to trade into this current structural range. So this is my current structural range at the moment. That means I'll be looking for bearish movement on GBP USD. Now the reason why I don't have that current this same type of view on Euro USD is because Euro USD is yet to give us what a bearish break of structural to the downside. Now we also look at AUD USD. Since AUD is weak, this is the reason why we are expecting this sell to continue to the downside. So my zone is this and this. So these are the two areas I'm monitoring for a bearish expansion to the downside. But before that, market can also trade into our H4 structure range, which is around here, right? So it can trade into this range or into this resistance level right here, or this long wick right here, then give us a bearish movement. So, but my major view is what bearish expansion from this particular level. So these are my major views for the week. Those are my point of interest, I'll be monitoring for a sell move for the week. So this is my primary POI, my secondary POI. In New Zealand USD, the same thing. I only have what breaker right here. Now the reason why I mark this breaker out is because on weekly time frame, I'm sorry, on H4, we have this breaker right here. So this is a sharp movement to the upside. Market broke below it, and we broke below it with what? With enough strength. So that will likely what help us to push up to this breaker level before market drop lower. All right. So I'm expecting market to trade into this level before lower prices. So this is my view on this. I also drop it on my diagram. Now, the same thing with USD CAD. Even from my last week analysis on DXY that I was expecting a buy, the same thing I was expecting on this pair. And the major pairs I was monitoring, which was on Friday, but because of NFP, I didn't trade that much. Was one, this USD CAD. I was expecting this buy. Right? Then another one was Euro USD for sale, GPUSD for sale. Those are the three major pairs I was monitoring for that very Friday. So here I'll be expecting first a short-term pullback right here into the zone before a possible buy expansion to the upside. Now on this USD chef. Now I have two major views on this particular pair. Now the first thing is this: from daily time frame, market is here to mitigate my major POI. So if I'm to refine it, it will be around here, right? So this will be my higher time frame POI on this time frame. All right. So that means if it gives us a reason to sell, it can get to this area before buy problem. But at the current moment, since we have this CRT reversal right here on this daily time frame, and 1 hour time frame, we have gotten a break of structure, the upside right here, making this a higher high, higher low right here. So we can expect market to give us what? Retracement into this range for buy program to the upside. So that would be my view for the week. So within the week, if market give us a reason to enter this trade, I will update it for us, just like I've been doing for us to take the trade. The same thing on USD JPY. Market has broken structure to the upside right here, breaking this structure high right here. So I'm expecting what a retracement to this level for what a buy program. So that's my major view for this week. So we'll have it just the same here, right here. So this is my major view for the week on this major. Yes. So good luck. Good trading to you all.